finding angles for your PR campaign. Hi guys, my name is Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon PR. We are a public relations agency based in the UK, USA, as well as Uganda. 3 U's. And here today in day number 3 of 39 days of public relations training, we're here to talk about finding angles for your PR campaign. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 11 additional strategies that are not going to be shared in this training. So fundamentally, what I want to awaken you to as you think about public relations is to think about ultimately your angles in terms of what you want to be known for and what that will mean organizationally for your business and otherwise. So when we talk about angles, there's what's quite interesting here is to align ultimately like what is your North Star. So let's just say there's a couple of ultimately elements that are important to North Star. So that could be I want backlinks, and we'll talk about backlinks later. So don't worry, that might just be links. I want to appear in big name publications because it helps my brand. Okay, so for example, people talk about, I want to appear in Forbes, I want to appear there here, I want to appear there, but the question you need to still ask is why. Okay, and that will then determine your angles fundamentally. So you want backlinks, you want brand name recognition, and that will equal potentially, for example, more sales. So let's just talk about that. You want backlinks, you want brand name recognition, and these two will help sales as an example. Okay, the ultimate end game for a lot of people is to increase sales, and that's like the proactive. And when it's defensive because you've got bad PR, then you want to just minimize damage minimization and that kind of stuff. So then when you think about angles, it's do you want your, for example, company to be recognized, or do you want an individual to be recognized? Okay, now the interesting thing is that if you want an individual, so let's talk about these two elements. So if you want a company to be recognized, what's interesting about that is that it's not Apple. So at a broad level, if you're a big brand, you can see media comments such as Apple commented today on this XYZ, Nike commented today on XYZ, or even, for example, a spokesperson from Apple said XYZ. Okay, now the challenge with this in general is that you need to more or less be a pretty big brand for it to just be Apple as a company commenting. What journalists look for more, and this probably follows your own, let's call it line of logical common sense, is that they look for individuals within a company to then comment on stuff. Okay, so then what you want when you think about angles for your campaign, if you want to promote your company, is that you want spokespeople within, for example, your company. Okay, now so if you've got a spokesperson, it also then depends upon what kind of, for example, media that you're looking for. Are you looking for, let's say, visual media? So when I say visual, maybe you want to appear alongside celebs. Maybe you want to appear on the front cover of Time magazine. Maybe you want to appear in publications with your picture plastered everywhere. Okay, so that would be an example of, let's call it visual media. Maybe you want an Instagram image to go viral. Then you've got audio visual media. So that's that's video content fundamentally. It's it could be video on, again, Instagram, so social media. It could be video on YouTube. It could be news media. So then you've got, for example, news in general. And then you've got, for example, stuff like podcasts. So looking at it then you've got, of course, magazines. So thinking about all of these platforms, one of the things that people, I think, sometimes get wrong when it comes to angles is that they don't really think about, and again, we're talking about an individual within a company, and then you've got, your own individual, you as a person, and thinking strategically about what you're trying to do. So as you think about angles, remember that individuals will definitely go further broadly than a company overall. And an individual can represent a company. Okay, so for example, I run, let's say, Pearl Lemon PR. I'm the founder. I don't run Pearl Lemon PR. I am the founder at Pearl Lemon PR, but it's going to be me as an individual, as, for example, the founder of Pearl Lemon PR, that's going to help me land a lot more press, because people connect with people, and that's what ultimately journalists are looking for. It's like, well, can I speak to somebody at the organization? Can someone at the organization comment upon this? We've got, what's your thoughts on X? What's your thoughts on Y? And it doesn't just connect as well when it's a company. So then as you think about, for example, right, we've got individuals. There's going to be different individuals that are suited for different things. Some individuals are great on a written format. Some individuals are great with an audio visual format. This you could argue is, for example, is a bit of an audio format, audio style presentation, maybe visual as well, because I'm recording videos and I'm doodling on the screen, but this lends itself to particular types of media. It's not got my face in it as an example. So, there's an argument there that maybe the kind of content I like doesn't have stuff that involves my face. But fundamentally, when you begin to align, and again, we're thinking about angles, and this is the part that comes before angles in a way. It is angles, is that as you think about those elements, it's, who in your company, and if it's just you as an individual, then fantastic, okay? And if you're comfortable doing anything and everything, then it's a case of, for example, well, we'll come to that in the next video as we talk about what makes sense as a next steps once you've determined what kind of formats you're comfortable in, as well as then what that means in terms of where you can reach out to. And then, of course, what is it that you want to say? But as a first step for finding angles for your PR campaign, determine which individuals, determine what formats I like to be in, and then think about what does that lend to in terms of the overall space and publications you can go on to. And then once you've got those elements, it's kind of easier to start thinking about angles. If someone's particularly good as a speaker, then you want them public speaking. If someone's a good public speaker, then they could probably do it all, because in theory, on written, they're going to be strong. Public speaking, they're going to be strong, which means audio visual, they're going to be strong. So on all of those elements are going to be strong in theory. If someone doesn't like public speaking, then you focus on the writing. If someone doesn't like their video or their picture out anywhere, then maybe they could do, for example, podcasts. So looking across the board at these angles then determines the platforms that you can fundamentally reach out to. So this is something that I think is critical as you start thinking about, well, what kind of media do I want to land? Think about who's comfortable on what, and therefore what that means in terms of the types of content you can go after.